Hi guys, I look a little bit sad maybe, and my voice is not there totally either because I had a total meltdown last night, and I think I cried for 1.5 years, more or less. So it's been hell since my mom died, and my dad has been really bad. And last week the ambulance came and took him, and he hasn't been home since, and he will not come home anymore. So today they took away all the drops or drips or whatever you call it to sustain him. And the strange thing is that they're doing so much to make him pain-free. That's good, that's not a bad thing, but usually when we know they're gonna die, we end up in the palliative care, and you can have the visiting hours 24/7 there. So when my mom died, I spent 4 days and nights with her, and today I have to go home, and we'll see tomorrow where he ends up and how many days he has left to live, more or less. It's hard to see my dad, my hero, he's been my everything all my life. He's the one who always been there for me. He has supported me. He has been on my side. He has helped me whenever I needed something. And he's always been strong and capable. And to see him just dwindle away in his dementia, Alzheimer's dementia, as they say in Sweden, that he has, and everything else that is bad in his system. His kidneys are failing, and it's a lot of things, and he's really sick. And some people think, how can you work, Mia? Well, I've been trained back in the days when I had a shitty ex-husband, as I call him, who used to make me cry every time before I should go to work. So I learned the hard way to actually bring in quite a strong focus when I'm working. And today I'm very happy for that, because when I work, tonight I have 3 hours work on Zoom for my progressive mediumship course, and them 3 hours I forget about myself, totally. And I put all my worries, all my anxiety, all my fears, everything to one side. I step into my little bubble of power, and it's such a relief for me. And I know a lot of people disagree, and that's fine. You shouldn't work when you're not in a good condition. For me, it's healing. And like I said, I'm stepping into my bubble of security, of freedom, of healing, and feeling the love from the spirit. And it feels like I have no problem in the world when I'm working. And when you're coming back from the work, usually you have a little bit of a distance to what you're going through. You're not so raw within your feelings and your sadness. So I could look at it with a little bit more objectively from outside. And I know there's nothing I can do for my dad. Today when I visited him, he hardly say hi. He was gone all this time when I was sitting there for 3 hours. And so I know that he don't care, but I care. And sorry, I get emotional, because he's been my everything. Like I said, he's been my hero. He's been there for me all the time. But for me, my work has been my lifesaver many times. And I love my work. And like I said, stepping into that bubble of security and forget the problem in the world, my own problem, my own issue. And it's a really beautiful feeling to have that relief for some hours now. So even though before you start, you just want to crawl up in your sofa on your bed and continue to cry a little bit, or put some funny series on the television to forget a little bit. But when you finally is there and you're finally deciding to get into the work, it's the best thing in the world, I think, to get away from your own issues. And I think my work has saved me so many times from myself and my own grief and my own shit that I've been through in my life, to have that pause when I go into that bubble. So it is like deja vu once again. I mean, for 1 year and about 2 months, I sat there with my mother, and it's funny because we moved back to my hometown because my mom and dad was ill, and I'm the only child, so they only have me. So it was no brainer. Of course, I would move back and help them. My mom died 29th of December 2024, and we moved in here the 20th of January 2025. So unfortunately, she passed away before we came back here, probably. And now, just over a year, my dad going through the same thing. And they're actually going through, my mom's kidneys also failed, so I can see similarities. My mom didn't have Alzheimer's though, so that was a blessing. My dad, he doesn't realize he was at the hospital a couple of days ago when I spoke to him. And yesterday and today, he hasn't been speaking more than hi, and then he goes back to sleep again. And it's not much left of him. So I just hope and pray that he will have as pain-free and smooth journey over to my mom. And I hope it doesn't take too long time. And some people, even the nurse I was speaking to today said, well, not many people actually say that they want them to go home. They try to keep them alive as long as they can. But that would be, for me, punishment for him. And also my dad has said for a whole year that I want to go home. I want to go home to my wife. And I hope she has a space for me. And who wants to see them suffer like that? He had a fall and he broke his hip, and they did the operation, not for him to be able to walk that much, but for pain relief, more or less. So yeah, there's a lot of issues there. But I mean, if you have a cat or a dog who suffer that much, we give them an injection and we think that's nice. And here we're gonna let the patient suffer because we can't just let them sleep in. But I think they come to that conclusion now finally, because he can't eat. He hasn't been eating for a week. And they can't put like a little button on the tummy for him to get him food because he won't make the operation, they told me. So there's nothing else to do for him but to make him feel as comfortable as possible before he passes to the other side. I hope that's what they decide tomorrow, because I haven't been able to speak to the doctor yet. And I've been trying for 2 days. I haven't been able to get hold of her or him. And because he's been moving around on different places at the hospital, there's a new doctor and a new nurse and a new doctor and a new nurse. So yeah, it's been quite some worrisome days. So in about half an hour now, I'm gonna start my progressive mediumship course, and I'm gonna give myself a 3 hours break from my worrying, my anxiety, and not being able to be there with my dad. So I just wanna, the reason I mentioned this is that some people, when something happens, they think, oh, I have to call in sick, or I can't be working because my mind is not right. But I remember many years ago, I was traveling with the International Spiritualist Federation, and it was a guy when we was away that week, and his partner died, and he was absolutely devastated. And he went up to do a demonstration the same evening that he had found out that his partner has died, and he did a marvelous job. And afterward he said, I think that was the best thing I could ever do to give myself some healing, some love from that unconditional spirit world. And I think that's maybe what have been with me since then. And of course also all the shit that happens that I have to focus. But as I say, it is a relief to forget yourself and your problem, because life is not about me at the moment. It's about my dad, and I just want him to be as comfortable as possible. And it doesn't help for me crying my eyes out. I had my moment yesterday when I was sobbing like a baby, ugly, crying for a couple of hours in my husband's arms, and I felt sorry for myself and all that my dad is leaving and all the things you're going through. And I've been very low today, so I'm sure after tonight I will feel much better. So if something happens to you and you're a medium, don't be afraid to work, because it actually helps. I'm not saying it's working for everybody, but if you think you can keep the focus, it's a couple of hours, whatever you're doing for work, of bliss to forget about yourself. So take care, everybody. Bye.